Recording in progress.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mean Green Nation Podcast. Welcome to it. Folks, and this, I mean, the crowd. Did you enjoy that game? Did you enjoy it? They enjoyed it. Yeah, be quiet.
They're very excited.
55-17 winners over the rival UTSA Roadrunners. I mean, I wish I was a little disappointed, right? Because I was like, man, we didn't get 70 on them. We didn't break the record on them.
Here we go.
So what are we doing? I was like, maybe Eric. I forgot. There. All right. Just, happy fingers here. I got to go to camera 3 because camera 2 looks like I'm dour, I look like I'm in Seattle with Mr. Avina here. Camera 1 always has stuff in the way, So I got to go to camera 3 so you can see that I'm, in fact, pretty happy about things. So if you don't know, gotta look nice for the peoples here now. Gotta trim up the stuff. Just came from I just came from a rec league game, so I'm like disheveled, University of North Texas winners at home on homecoming. Wasn't the crowd that I think I guess the revenue guys want, but it was a good day overall. UTSA is a rival, but they've won 4 straight, right? They're not really doing too much. Nobody's really excited about them. Definitely not as excited about UTSA as people were about USF, so that contributed a little bit to it. And also, the fallout of losing, 63 to 36 to USF, it hurt the attendance a little bit, right? So that's why you got somewhere around 22, whatever it was. I don't really care too much about that. I think all that is taken care of by winning. You win, people care. You keep winning, people care.
I will point out, though, that the student attendance looked pretty decent. I think they were filling in the lower bowl, lower section of the tail or the wing, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a good takeaway, right? They're coming in, they're supporting. You grow. That's how you foster that for years to come.
Yeah.
The other side of the stadium needs to do its part now. 6-1.
Yeah, and that's we've talked about that. There's that donut in the middle, right? You had the for you said the Dodge guys. People loving Todd Dodge.
I meant to say
they're buying a lot of tickets. Those Dodge sure did love. But you get. I think we're saying the same thing. Is that there were some middle years here there where we're not good. People don't have fond memories of going to North Texas games and seeing wins. And so you had a little earlier, guys, recent people that liked some of the Seth Luttrell years and, early on Eric Morris years. But this is the time where, you kind of bind people to it. And then, the other part is, even the youngins, right? People come, they bring their kids, and then they start building an attachment to them. And then, it's that sweet spot when you're 10, 11, 12. Then you start getting the teams that you're always going to love, that's when it happens. You know what I mean? This is my team. And then if they're having some magical moments and they're having some great, then you're just tied to them forever, right? For good and bad, I guess you and the Indianapolis Colts, for whatever reason, that's, that reminds me of those, the Rangers. That reminds me of you've seen those chimps or something like that, and they have a wire mommy. I feel like that's you and the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, just it's unnatural. We don't know how it happened, but now you're attached to it. that's your mommy.
And I'm loyal, and so I'm not gonna drop off. But then, if I did drop off, where would I go? Seattle Seahawks. I live here, but it's been 2 years.
Yeah.
Everybody, I will not do that. For everybody else's context, I grew up in Austin. There's no pro football team down there, obviously.
There's the Cowboys.
It was the Houston.
There's the Cowboys. That's what it is.
When I was a kid, it was the Houston Oilers, but they disappeared. They don't exist anymore. And I wasn't going to root for them when they were the Titans. And and then everybody else was rooting for the Cowboys, and I was like, yeah, whatever. And
hipster. You see, he should have been a Longhorn. This guy, he's a hipster. He can't. He's like, I don't like
anti-establishment, whatever.
He roots for the Colts.
But
one of the oldest NFL franchises, by the way. I just wanted to throw that out there for you.
From Baltimore.
Yeah. All right. So enough about Aldo's history. It's not a podcast about Aldo. That's on a different day that we record that one. So tell me about second grade. How was it? Were you the bully? Were you being bullied? So it's a good week. It's a good Sunday. It's always a nice Sunday. Everything does. I say it every week, and it's true. Woke up with a nice, good feeling. So my friend, he owns a little restaurant. It's a Peruvian restaurant here, right? So me being Mexican American, I'm real skeptical of all these South American. It's like, is it gonna taste good?
It's just different.
Yeah, it's like this feels like it's like mountain food. You know what I mean? You get from Peru. You even got up there. You got flavors up there in the mountain. It seems like you leave a few behind because it takes a long time to get up there. I don't know, buddy. It was good food. It was a good time. And he was like, we have live music when playing whatever, and then we're gonna do karaoke. There was one guy there that was just singing, and he was like, I don't think this guy's ever let somebody else play. But if my daughter, who doesn't see challenges, she sees opportunities. She's like, is it my turn to sing now? Right? We're like, oh yeah, okay. And then I asked the dude, I was like, hey, you're going to do karaoke? She wants to sing. He's like, she wants to sing? Yeah. So she got up there and she sang. And everybody's like, wow, they thought she was so cute. And she got free dessert out the whole thing just from the staff. They're like, she's so cute, she's so beautiful.
Making a profit.
Yeah, we're going to be, just entertaining there. Do a live podcast and my kid will sing. Real 1902 stuff, sing and dance for my bread. But no, I say all that is like we had good vibes continuing after the game. We went there and everybody's having a good time. My wife and I had a margarita, so I tweeted that one out because we knew we were going to go there and do that. We also went to a birthday party to start the game, and I bought, this is why I have a bunch of Modelo here, is that like I bought beers for it because I didn't know what kind of vibe this party was. Sometimes you go to those birthday parties where like, yeah, we're going to have, it's a theme, whatever, and then, nobody's gonna be drinking. It's a kid's birthday party. And then there's the ones that I remember that are like, yeah, it's a kid's birthday party. Yeah, we're gonna have some drink.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Have some beer.
So
it's a fiesta.
Yeah. So this dude was he's also a distributor. So he was like, your beer's no good here because I get free samples of all the stuff. So what do you want? And so I was drinking some Di Serono, I think is what he was handing out. But like I'm saying, so it was
fancy stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like the point is like it was good vibes heading into the game, and good vibes after the game, and that contributes to how good I felt today all day Sunday. But yeah, pancakes tasted better. My eggs sunny side up as I like them. My wife made them.
Bacon was crispier.
Yeah, I was like, did you put some extra? Did you put a little something extra on this? Is the stove cleaner? Is that why my bacon tastes crispy? I don't know. Did you clean out the
50 burger? That's what a 50 burger tastes like.
Yeah, that's what it is. Because I was looking around, I was like, did she get new spices? She didn't get new spices. What is it? Oh, it's this 50 brand. It's 50 burger brand. It's sprinkled all over everything. It tastes great. This Modelo right here, and I'm drinking on this show. Hey Modelo, if you want to sponsor the show. It tastes good, even better. I was like, you know what? I didn't know that Cerveza's Modelo Especial was so good. How'd they do this? Because, it came through Texas where it's glowing with 6-1 North Texas vibes there, right? So
6-1. Yeah, and I'm more of a Dos Equis guy myself. But last night I split a bottle of wine because it was our 15th wedding anniversary. And
look at this guy.
It was the same deal, right? You walk in and it's just like, this feels good. We just beat the hell out of UTSA.
Yeah.
Nothing can go wrong.
Yeah.
Even though the service is slow and it's taking forever. The
they
soup
just
might
want
be a
us
little
to
bit
think about
cooler.
How we won a little bit longer, just be alone with our
Yeah.
thoughts. Like, man, did you
marinate?
3 touchdowns by Wyatt Young. That was pretty great.
I was wanting them to give Caleb a rushing touchdown. but they kept pulling him out or doing trickeration and
you gotta keep him
giving it to
hungry.
Wyatt.
I mean, you can't think he accomplished everything already. Like, I
Oh,
mean,
he got to the 1 yard line twice.
yeah,
Oh,
he ran over everybody there. And they're like, I mean, look, dude, what's 1 yard? They're like, let's think about your yards per carry average here. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like,
that's
he's
true.
like, you know what?
Gonna
You're
ruin
right. Yeah, you don't want to ruin that. Look at that. It's pristine right now. We're trying to help you out there, kid. Yeah. So it's funny. There's two ways to look at it. I didn't like, and I don't have a clip of this or anything like that. But afterwards, and Jeff Traylor's all kind of disheveled after the thing, and they're like, Jeff, tell me a little bit about how you lost, right? We got the most amazing journalists covering this beat. And they're like, tell us how you lost. And then he's like, well, just Eric hasn't played well. But they bounced back because they got their asses kicked last week, and so we'll see how we bounce back. I didn't like that. I was like, why do you gotta mention that? Like, we're talking about you losing right now. He's like, because they got beat. Don't worry about us, guy. Worry about yourselves. You need to worry about your own team. You're worried about us. I didn't like that, and I wish we would have put more on him. You know what I mean? To just get him a little bit.
I wanted to run up the score, mostly because it's UTSA, but secondly, if it does come to tiebreakers, you want those points. But I was.
What is the difference? 55 and 17. Is that 38? Is that what they have that? One in a math major. That just raw talent right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's the second largest deficit, margin of victory, I should say. We have the two. We have in the series, both teams, right? 1 and 2. I think their largest margin of victory over us is 32 points, and that's only because the refs are cheating, and I'm pretty sure they're paying players under the table.
The refs were a little questionable in this last game.
Yeah,
but they went mostly in our favor, so I didn't care.
I didn't like that they took so long on the lateral. I feel like it's clear that's a lateral. Let's move on. I feel like they should have sort of like a VAR in world soccer. Yeah, like I like because those guys are.
I hate that.
A lot of them, their first language is in English, and they have to present in English, especially like MLS. When I'm watching MLS, they're like, they're really on the field, no penalty. Like they're like they're like. I didn't sign up to speak English in front of 40,000 people, and there's this they're like, really, no penalty. They're really struggling with it. I feel for them, but it's just kind of funny that they have to do that. When they signed up for ref schooling, they were like, hey, guess what? You're gonna have to give a speech in front of.
Translate all these weird terms.
So you think about that, right? Because they're over there, they're talking to Lionel Messi, like, no, it's not. But they're like, I gotta go give a speech.
But that sign, that square sign, is universal, and everybody goes, oh.
Yeah. I like when they just
stops
point.
Everything.
I like the refs. They just do it. I don't like the refs talking to us anyway, because they're always kind of, the mic never works. They're like,
get feedback.
Yeah, just do the signal. That's what it's for. Holding offense done. All right, got it. We don't need the number, really, I guess. They could just let us know. Yeah, go back on replay and look. Check it out. You can see who was holding. He's holding. He's been holding every play.
We knew who it was.
Yeah.
We knew who it was.
Just bring him over. This guy right here. This guy. He was doing it.
Man, we are all over the place. But, yeah, I like to watch college football or NFL in general on usually mute, and I've got other stuff going. Like if I'm not watching North Texas, all
right, okay.
This
is not one of your like CEO my day. You may have one day, but that first 4 hours, that's a day to me. That's what you sound like to me right now. Okay, you sound like that guy.
You gotta take it in phases.
Yeah. It's like I'm already a week ahead of you after just. All right, but okay, I get it. You got so much going on. You can't watch the Cowboys game because you're also writing an essay. Okay.
Who's watching Cowboys? Why would anybody want to watch?
Yeah,
the Cowboys?
I forgot. I don't know who the Indianapolis Colts play. Who do they play?
Chargers.
Yeah, no one cares about that. I don't want to see that game.
Beat the Chargers.
Okay. All right. Calm you down from your.
Hey, I'm riding a high. Riding a high.
Let me tell you how you can get to the next level. Right, you turn the game on, and then you turn the next game on. I'm watching next week's game already, but.
And I'm wearing my Rangers T-shirt, walking around town.
Yeah,
Everybody's giving me the look. Like, you guys are gone. What are you?
yeah. I
We're,
mean,
we're trying to get to the World Series.
yeah, it's a little weird. I mean, but I guess we get it. You're born in Austin. You're weird. You're making everything weird for everybody. It all just
Trying to get attention.
Yeah, it's like, okay, all right. Just dye your hair blue already, guy. It's fine. We get it. We get it. All right. So, yes, Caleb Hawkins just dominated that game. And if you want to be a little bit of a pessimist, which I know that's your favorite role to play, is you'd say, well, 2nd and 19, right? And we got a 30-yard pass. The offense is basically right now, just give it to Caleb Hawkins and hope and pray that he bails you out, right? He's like, 2nd and 19, let's give it to this guy. It was literally just like a little bleep. And then he's like, okay, this guy's gone. Run through 4 guys. They're trying to arm tackle me. He looked like Bruce Lee in a movie. You know, they said this guy, Pablo Francisco's joke, he's like, can you fall down and you're going there and then knock you over? That's basically what he's doing. He's like, ha, ha, ha. It's like 4 guys like bouncing off and they're flipping over and they're kind of like, whoa, you know. It looks cartoonish. Then he's
it's
like,
physicality that we haven't seen around here.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. And so but I feel like there's a little bit of a heavy reliance on him, right? That's not to say McGill's bad. Sibley, he scored on a draw play, and that also made Jeff Traylor upset. He's like, we got the light box, 3rd and 16. They scored on that. We're close. We're actually close.
I see what you're talking about, and that has been on my mind, right? But it's kind of that weird dynamic of, or not dynamic, but that juxtaposition of like, we have flaws, but we also put 50-something points in 3 games. We are number 1 scoring offense in the country, but it could be better, right? The execution has been a little weak. And, you see it in Drew Messamaker not being able to connect deep and making some mistakes. But because we have Caleb Hawkins, we can lean on him to cover up on those mistakes. And I think that's great. It does make me concerned if he were to go down or if he's gone after next year and stuff like that. But that the other side of me is saying just enjoy it. We have him, and so let's use him. And he moves the chains, and that is a good compliment to Mustamaker's limitations or whatever he's going through in these last 3 or 4 game stretches. And so
I call it growing pains, but yeah, I think you make some good points, and I agree. I think I'm saying, I'm just like looking at it from a holistic perspective. I'm like, okay, there was good, but yeah, when we win, it's not just like we're the best team, we have no flaws. I remember that dude from the USF tweeting about it. It's like, our team has no flaws. Imagine saying our team has, like, your quarterback struggles to get 50% pass. Man, shut up. The deal is that, like, if you look at what are the weaknesses of North Texas, it's those things, that the quarterback, you can't hit a deep ball for whatever reason. He's got the yips doing that. Yeah. And also that the run game is really reliant on Caleb Hawkins to make big plays, right? But I'll caveat that by saying that Sibley made big runs against Western Michigan, right, before Caleb Hawkins was like a thing, a regular guy doing dangerous stuff. I remember thinking that same thing. I think we even mentioned on the show, it was like, he's going to be a big loss going to the next week because he was out, right? Where, like, he was getting some 3rd and longs, I think, back to back in a crucial drive against Western Michigan. He converted a 3rd and 10, and then he got like another one, another draw play type thing. So I think you're right. It's sort of akin to saying, the Golden State Warriors sure do rely on that Steph Curry guy. It's like, yeah, man, it's your best player. Get him the ball. Let him do his thing. Yeah. So I don't think it's bad to give him the ball. And he's shining bright, right? 133 yards rushing, but also 90 yards receiving. He's killing it, the kid. Getting the ball in all the ways, and suddenly you're a real smart coach, right?
And I'm also grateful that we have McGill, we have Sibley to, keep that workload off of Caleb, because your body's going to start to fall apart as you get deeper into the season. And if you're wanting that championship contention, you got to keep Caleb up. And so as soon as the game is wrapped up, take him out. You got plenty of guys in that stable.
Which is also why I don't agree with everybody like, yo, you got to keep giving him. You went away from Caleb Hawkins. I'm like, dude, we got to keep this guy upright. Like, there's a longer game to play. Even in the game, we want him in the fourth quarter. We still want him fresh. We're trying to rotate everybody, and then the season, and then his career too. Like this, we know a lot about, health. A lot more than we did in, like, say, 1986. They're like, hey, you're a number one running back. We're going to run you 40 times a game and until your knee pops off, and then we'll just get another one in there.
Yeah, but I see that argument, though. There have been times when we disappear on offense, right? We get away from the normal play calling. We do a play action on the first down or whatever, or RPO, PRO on first down. Pass it. And Caleb doesn't get any touches.
Yeah.
Three and out, he's out. And then they keep that strict rotation, and they put in McGill or somebody else. And it's like he hasn't had to put his body through anything in the last drive. Can we bring him back in and get that rolling again? Because we won't see him for a few drives or several minutes. So I understand that sentiment.
So I would say all that stuff, right? We're picking at nits here because the third time we scored 50 this season, we scored 30 plus in every game. I think we haven't there's only one quarter where we've been shut out in terms of points. I think that's redundant.
That was this game, right? That was this UTSA.
No, it wasn't. We scored in every quarter. The fourth quarter we had what's the name throwing that touchdown. It was gonna be. It was like, is it gonna? No, we scored. We went down and scored. It was right at the end of the half, I think. We were like, is it gonna? And then they went down and scored. So it's. I will say that there was a moment there where you're like, okay, is North Texas really gonna? Are they stopping them? Because UTSA was like grinding their way down the field. They had converting a fourth down. They had that quarterback rolling around, then finding one of those tight ends for something, and the running backs were just finding little gaps. I thought that guys were taking bad angles or kind of underestimating his speed, more to say. And it could be that they had it and they just like, well, we lost contain because the guy's just fast and he beat our contain. He was just better. But I thought those are concerns, but then North Texas squashed it. UTSA also was bad, right? They were Jeff Traylor in his post game was like, we hurt ourselves. And yes, you did, but that's also why coming into the game, I did not think that UTSA was very good. They've been all the good that you see for Owen McCown has been at home, where they are on a 23-game win streak, right, including conference championship games. That's where he plays best. Last week they scored 61. Their defense looked like Big 12 caliber. They're playing at home. When they go on the road, they're a different team. A little Cinderella situation going on. They looked bad against Temple, right? I watched a little bit of that game. They looked bad against Temple. They looked bad against North Texas, right? Suddenly all those things that you're open and, the guys are dropping passes, whatever. I expected a lot more of that. And then, I saw a lot of, their analysts, former cornerback guy. He's like, the UTSA, odds makers are saying they really trust us. They like what they see. I think UTSA, they got their mojo back. Whatever. No, they don't. They don't have none of that. I think, we bottled up their run game a lot. Yeah, they had 200 yards rushing. A lot of that was on one play, which was a bad run fit. Black mark for them. So you get a B- maybe. But when it was like, they didn't just grind it away, which is the thing I've been saying, right? They didn't bully us down the field. They didn't set themselves up for convertible third downs, and they didn't convert third downs, right? And the most important thing, the North Texas defense got turnovers again.
Yes, and all the things that you're saying, credit to the defense, right? They were creating those situations, both the good and the bad, but mainly the good, right? Opportunistic, going and getting after that ball, that lateral turning into a fumble recovery. Just when most everybody else was just like, oh, the play's dead. He's going over there and picking up
attention to detail. Yeah, I put that in the Mean Green Nation chat. Like during the game, we like to do a chat. Same deal, right? Same what you call it? I was like, when they held up the running back, I think it was Henry, right? And it was Sadiq Clements. Just goes he's sitting on Trey Fields or laying on him, and then they're batting the ball out, and then the guys are jumping on it. That's attention to detail. Yeah, all the stuff coaches yell at you, finishing the play, recognizing, having high IQ, and it's also good talent, good aggressiveness. Because if you're if you're in bad position, then you're not in a position to hold them up and take the ball away. You're chasing and just hoping for desperation something. But if you're gang tackling, that means you're mostly in the right position and you're getting there. Even guys that were getting beat, maybe you lost your matchup one-on-one, you got pushed back a couple yards. The guy's going down. Now you're close enough to the play. You're not just 15 yards down the field, or you're not pancaked, right? The guy's just putting his hand on your face, like holding you down. You're close enough to the play so you can be around the play. So all those things are evidence of a good defense, right? How do good defenses suddenly get more turnovers? Because they're not chasing the guy down like this. Oh, I get him. It's hard to get fumbles when you're like, oh, please.
And when you're dealing with a guy like Robert Henry, who is fast, who's at one point, and this happened several times, but there was one specific play where we had three guys in their backfield, and he still gained like 4 yards because he shook him, he pushed him.
He's a little shifty guy, yeah.
And which he's an awesome running back, so no slight there, but throughout the game, right, they didn't let those little small things snowball into big things, right? Besides that long run, and they contained him. They contained the all. I'm trying to remember the other guys' names, but all the running backs out there,
like
all
Mendenhall or something, yeah.
Mendenhall.
Something like that. I can't remember, but yes.
Henderson.
There you go. You can just start saying names. I'm just gonna agree with everything you say. Yeah. Yeah.
I know more of their players' names than never mind. And so it's you feel more confident that in their ability to be able to handle those situations than you did last year. And even though they're allowing those rushes, those yards, they're still opportunistic and turning what would be a conversion or a long gain or pass into interceptions, fumble recoveries, and the attack. So I have been very excited about what I've been seeing after being pessimist after last week. Anyway, yes. Yeah.
So they had 6.7 yards per carry, right? And Henry had 11.5 yards per carry. But I would say that he was pretty ineffective, right? Like outside of those two things, like if you look, again, this is why you don't box score watch only, right? You look at his stat line, 12 carries, 138 yards, a score. You're like, oh man, this dude was a problem. He was a problem on one play, I think. Like everything else, like you said, you can see his talent, you can see his quality, but like here are some runs. 72, 0, 6, -2, 3, 5, 3, -2, 41, 6, 5, 1. So there was a lot of containment, 2 long runs. Like obviously you don't want a 41-yard run. Obviously you don't want a 72-yard run. There's his 100 yards and 2 rushes, but I like that there was a 0, a -2, a 3, and a 5. Those are a little bit more solid. And the other dude that was fast, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, so you're saying 2 carries for 113 yards, and then that would mean that's 10 carries for like 20-something yards?
Yeah. So, I felt like he was pretty handled. Now, obviously, you want to fix those other things, but then, like, this dude's also run for like a 70-yard run in like 5 games this season, right? So there's a lot of, like, he's able to do that. You want to fix that, but the thing that matters is the score, right? You don't move down in the standings because you can allow 500 yards rushing every game as long as you outscore them by a point every game, right? It doesn't really matter. Those are that decrease the likelihood that you'll win, obviously, right? Because you run the ball, you probably scoring. Yes, exactly. So it's not a habit you want to make, right? But North Texas ran for 270 and 6.1 yards a carry, right? And then there's also 314 yards passing for North Texas. We only allowed 118 yards passing, and 31 of those were by the backup. 4 or 5 was the backup. 12 of 21, 87 yards for Owen McCown. Much heralded dude. He's so good. He threw for 300 last year against North Texas in San Antonio. Again, completely different kid when he has to come in the unfriendly confines of Denton. Yeah, I mean, and that's the other thing too. Is like, and everybody's like, oh, you don't get a weather delay at the Alamo Dome. I saw that tweet. To me, football is supposed to be played outside, and but domes are nicer and all this other stuff. But you gotta at least feel the cold, and if it's raining a little bit, feel the wet. Yeah, the fans maybe not so much, but the football on the field, that's part of the toughness of it. So
getting hit when it's cold is a lot different.
Yeah, that's the game, man. Like adapting to the conditions, that's part of it. I feel like that's what makes the game great, So I whatever. I feel like that's all part of it. Owen McCown handled, right? He got put in jail, and some of it was his guys, right? Let's look at his drops. I think 2 drops were officially marked for him.
Recorded, yeah.
But I felt like some of those dudes were dropping some other ones in there too.
Yeah, in the end zone as well.
Yeah, but like if so, you're like, well, they got lucky also, right? Because Mastermaker missed a couple guys dropped some wide open ones. I think Trey Williams dropped one, a huge one that would have been 6 also. Like there's a little bit back and forth, and then I think both teams could be trading stories about, oh, we had you, we were this, yeah. So were we, right? So whatever. Like I think those are a wash. When it mattered, North Texas got the double dip, scored before half, scored after half, completely dominated third quarter, outscored them 21-3 on the way to 31-3 in the second half. So whatever, allowed 7 points, first score on the first drive in a few weeks or whatever it was. I think overall just complete domination in the second half, and that was the game. That's all that matters. Win the game.
Yeah, and it shows how North Texas responds, both responding to the huge loss to South Florida last week, to allowing the score on the first drive in this game against UTSA. North Texas was able to respond, and in a dominating fashion. Like, this is better than I expected it to be. I think a lot of folks were thinking, okay, this might be close. I mean, the bettors were saying at 3.5 favorites. Yeah. It was bigger than that.
Yeah. At no point was North Texas outgained, right? In the first quarter, North Texas up 17-7, outgained them 190-87. Second quarter, 7-7, so it was like a draw, right? But North Texas outgains them 104-95. And sure, some of that was on the last drive of the second half. I mean, of the second quarter, to go down and score the touchdown and kind of extend the lead. Yeah. But that's what counts. It doesn't matter when you do it, as long as you do it. So overall in the first half, is outgained by 100 yards, at 294 total yards to 182. Outrushed them 165-110, and that is spotting them 172-yard run. So just lots of evidence of domination throughout the game, and whatever. Like, that's typically how it happens, right? A team that's not as good as you, they'll show they're there for a little bit, right? Got close, forced you to punt. Maybe got an interception called back, whatever. But the quality shows in the rest of the game. Second half, complete domination, 31-3, as I mentioned. Outgained them 290-150. In the third quarter alone, 21-3, 191-99 in yardage. And then the fourth quarter, it was all said and done and dusted. 10-0. Outgained them 99-51, and those are backups out there. And shout out to Jimerson.
Jimerson.
Yeah, just throwing a touchdown. I was like, you know what? Let me just get out here, throw one pass, touchdown.
From
it was 37 yards.
Line. Oh, was it the 37-yard line?
There's only 37 yards.
Oh, dang it! I thought he was standing at the 50-yard mark when he tossed it into the end zone.
Yeah,
but
well, maybe sort of, because he dropped back, a little bit.
That's right. So from the line of scrimmage, it was 37 yards, but he was dropping back and kind of just standing around midfield, and he just threw the most beautiful deep pass that we've seen North Texas do in the last 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah, right here, was it the freshman kid, right? Terrence Lewis. 1 catch, 37 yards, touchdown. And then he goes, sits down, right? High fives. Money time. Wyatt Young, 6 catches, 102 yards, 3 scores. He was dominating everybody. I don't think they had anybody that could guard him, and that was a concern for UTSA coming in. Like they said as much. A lot of people were concerned about their secondary. I think their saving grace, hope maybe we'll say that, was that their defensive line would be able to get to Drew Mastermaker, causing problems, helping the secondary out. But I thought, and again, let's credit our offensive coordinator, the play caller, Jordan Davis, the coordinator, the play caller, Eric Morris, the whole squad, right? Patrick, Cobbs, everybody. They had a game plan. It was executed. Drew Mastermaker was not under pressure a lot. he was out there dealing. He was able to throw deep balls. Cam Dorner caught some corners, little timing routes, little out routes, not corners, little out routes, deep outs. He grabbed 5 catches, 63 yards, which is very possession receiver type stuff, right? And he had a score. Just like it's a good game plan. I'm trying to count the number of guys that caught a pass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 guys caught a pass. Even Dalton Carnes, 1 catch, 4 yards. But 23 grabs, 314 yards total, right? Messenmaker, I guess, when the game was in doubt. 22 of 35, 277, 4 scores, 63% completion percentage, no interceptions, no turnovers for that guy. No official ones. He threw one, but that didn't count because they were cheating. There's defensive holding.
And it should have been a bigger game for the fact that they couldn't connect White Young and Drew Messenmaker. Which is super frustrating. You're watching that. They finally connected on the underthrown pass, and I guess underthrown is a little bit easier to pass or catch than an overthrown ball. But hoping that they work that out.
Well, I'm not going to be a pessimist. I'm like, well, maybe he's going to be at he's going to be at Penn State next year when they take him, and just be all sad about it. I'll say this, that I'm assuming the best here. Assume good intent and all that stuff. He's a freshman, redshirt freshman, right? He's only going to get better. All these reps that he's gotten as the starting QB are the only reps he's gotten as a starting QB for a long time. And the dude won the job. He's not throwing interception. If you're like, hey, you're redshirt freshman quarterback, 22 of 35, 277, 4 touchdowns. That is better than Mason Fine. Mason Fine was a little bit of a turnover machine. I don't know if you guys remember this, but he was. He was turning the ball over, and he had to play at UTSA in 2016. I'm looking through these stats right here. He did not have a game as good as that. His freshman season. I know it was his freshman season. He only threw 6 touchdowns his freshman year. 6 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He didn't finish the season either. He did not have a game like this. Even 2017, you're like, okay, well, that's when he was like 31 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, though. Right? A little different. This is very good quarterbacking by our redshirt freshman kid. So I think it's gotta just remember that how good, 17 touchdowns against 3 interceptions. His QB rating is 153. Kid's ball.
He's been doing awesome, right? And we're asking him to at least I'm asking him to be able to connect more often deep. But we're seeing it a lot, right? When we need that deep ball, it's not going to be there when Messenmaker is under center. So it's something that he's got to work through. I'm sure he's got quarterback coaches that are going to help him through that.
He improved in that game. He did eventually complete that pass to Wyatt Young. Guy scored. So
right, and credit to Wyatt Young too for absolutely torching that secondary multiple times, beating them deep so often.
Yeah, when you got like a 5-yard gap between you and the guy, that gives the quarterback a lot of room. Maybe it's his fault that it was not completed. He's like, you know what? I was too open. You know what I mean? Like he's like, ooh, it's like, you got a wide open shot from the corner. He's like, ugh, how long did that take here? Also, shout out to was it Tom Von Grote out there talking noise? He ran a little 2-yard gain. And he's like letting everybody know, hey, this is TVG right here you're dealing with, The
Van Grote.
TVG. So that was great. Lots of good from this one, right? And, we turn our attention a little bit. We'll have another show this week. Maybe, I think it's Thursday we're aiming for, judging by what Aldo's telling me about his busy schedule. And remember, Aldo's already a week ahead of us, you know what I mean? Because his day's broken into 5 days.
I am planning ahead for everything.
We play Charlotte on the road this week on a Friday, right? So we already had a Friday game this year, but that was against USF, and that was at home. Different preparation thing because you got to account for travel. So North Texas will play at Charlotte. The line came out today, 23-point favorites. It makes me feel uncomfortable because I'm like, God.
Yeah, and it's on a Friday.
Anything can happen. Anything can go
on
wrong.
Fridays? Is it just the one game?
Yeah, I think we are.
All right, so that's the other thing is we're winless on Fridays in 2025.
Well, not only that, because I was thinking, didn't we play? We played one time last year on Friday. It was against UTSA on the road, and lost that one. Mm-hmm. And this year, obviously, USF, and then we have this next one, Charlotte. The good news is we get to be on TV. The bad news is that it's Charlotte. So if you win, blow them out. Nobody's gonna care. You're not gonna get like a lot of attention for it. Like it can only be bad, right? You know, like that's
right.
If we win 60-0, people are like, well, Charlotte sucks. Yeah. If it's a close game, then they're like, oh, Charlotte jumped up, almost beat you. Like, you can't do anything. So there's no good.
But the thing is, if we beat them like we're supposed to, then it just looks like normal, taking care of business stuff, and you get more votes. And right now we're back in the voting block or whatever.
It's called the also receiving votes section of the coaches poll. Yeah.
That's where I go. Like as soon as it comes up, I scroll all the way down and say also receiving votes. North Texas is back in. Right before South Florida, I think we had 20-something votes. I think we're to 4 votes now.
Yes.
Memphis
which is where we were 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. I mean, so like that's the deal. Is like you don't have a lot of room for error in the American.
Right.
And we're talking about this. You brought it up. You're like, I'm see if I do my Aldo voice. I think Memphis is not. He's like, hold on. Let me get more grungy music on.
You gotta get more nasally.
Yeah. I kind of have a little nasal voice going on. That's why we do such a great show. It's for all the nasally voice people. That you brought it up. You were like, hey, look, Memphis has the worst strength of schedule than we do, right? And then, they got UCLA'd by UAB. UAB fired their coach. They got a dead coach bounce, so to speak, and they beat them, right? Like, I feel...
Let them beat them.
Yeah, this is the deal there. When you play a bad team, is that you lose. If you lose to a bad team, it's a mental thing. You're not prepared enough. You're not taking them seriously, and you're not taking care of business, like you said, right? What does that mean? It means treating them, Charlotte, UAB, the bad team, as if they were Alabama, right? If you're not playing them like they're Alabama, like they're the best team in the nation, then you're giving them an opportunity to beat you. And that's very tough. That is, I would say, the majority of coaching of this week, because if you let everybody do their natural level of play, you're going to take them less seriously. So it has to be the coaching. I'd like to see the coaching staff jump all over the guys this week, right? If somebody drops a pass, it's maybe, I don't think you can pull a face mask anymore and yell at them, but you can get in their face, be like, what are you doing? Hey, catch the ball, son. Whatever the coaching things are this time, you got to treat it that way, so that way they don't. I think I heard something this week. Danny Green was talking about that. He said one thing that the San Antonio Spurs did really well was that to prepare him and other people for playing the best teams in the league, is that they would get on their behinds when they were playing the terrible teams in the league, right? He's like, hey, if you're not, I think he said Evan Fournier, if you're not chasing Evan Fournier like he's Steph Curry, then you're not going to be ready for Steph Curry. Right, you need to prepare like that right now, and that's it. That's great coaching there, right? Like you gotta coach them up. So I'd like for the staff, Pat Cobbs, if you're listening, don't let nobody's fumbling. Everybody needs to hit the hole, right? Shoulders need to be in upfield. You need to hit the right, everything. Run with violence. Everything needs to be crisp. It needs to be the best practice ever this week, as if Charlotte were a top 25 team. That same level of intensity. Why? Because if you don't, you open the door just slightly ajar. And then, it could be Charlotte. Be like, what an upset. Charlotte, a 23-point underdog, has a chance to upset North Texas here. And you don't want that. Let's kill them. Let's kill their hope. First quarter, it should be 35-0. And they're like that. Fans leave. The coaches might be leaving. He's kind of like, I don't know about this, he starts texting his agent like, let's maybe see if I can get one of these like coaching analyst jobs. Saw Seth Luttrell up there in the balls. It seems like a pretty sweet gig. Let me get one of them. That's what you want them doing. Kill it, just kill it, nip it in the bud. No mercy.
I mean, it's very slim margins here in the American. Whether it's chasing the American championship contention, or even playoffs consideration for the future. Because the only way to get to the playoffs is through the championship. So
Yes.
if you allow somebody like Charlotte to be better than you for any length of time, then you're not good enough to be in the championship. Right?
No.
And same goes to Memphis, same goes to Tulane, same goes to South Florida. If you're letting these other teams that you should walk all over, because South Florida handle business with FAU. If you let them walk on you, then you have no business being either ranked or in the American Championship. And we have a smaller margin than somebody like Memphis because of the brand, right? Memphis has a history of winning, and they've won the championship before. And so when they go and have a 5-win or 5-0 start, they get ranked, even though it's one of the weakest schedules in the country. We go 5-0, and we're barely getting some votes, right?
They're like, well, who'd they play? Exactly.
Right. We're playing pretty much the same teams, but because of who we are, we're not going to get that same kind of support. And we lost a lot of that against a good team, which is even more frustrating, right? You lose to the South Florida in the way you did, you're wiped off the map. And so we got to fight back and go 5-0 again before we get more, conversations.
Yeah, I think a good example of that was like Gonzaga. It took them like 20 years to get the cachet to be ranked, higher up in the NCAA tournament. They were always, they're good. It was like, oh, look at this funny team name out here. They're always kind of upsetting people. They get in the Sweet 16s all the time. And then if they didn't win, they didn't get to Sweet 16. They're like, well, that's it. That's kind of, they're done. But, they always come back. Eventually, people are like, they're kind of good, right? So when they win the West Coast Conference, maybe they deserve an 8 seed and not a 13, a 12, or whatever the case is. But that's, the exact same thing is that you need to establish over a long period of time. And it's going to be longer than one season. It needs to be over years. But all of this contributes to it. North Texas bounces back from a loss, and I think this is why you saw it in the coaches poll, not in the AP poll. The coaches recognize how difficult it is to get guys to bounce back, and they're like, "Hey, look, they got whooped, right? They bounced back and they took care of business, 55-17. That's a good team there. Those are indicators of a good team, because you could, that could kill all of it and make it hard. And now guys are tuning out, you're not paying attention, you're not trying as hard." Your heart's not in it because like, whoa, what's the point? I thought we had, and it's over. They checked out. But good teams, they stick with it. And I think this team has done that. Nobody gave up. Again, still attention to detail on defense. You saw that. We saw that. There's a lot of stuff like that I like. That's again an indicator of a good team.
Chasing guys down, didn't let them just run into the end zone after 72 yards.
Who was that? Was that Fisher or Armstead? One of the corners is the one that chased down.
Fisher on the second run where he got hurt. That was the
he got a little banged up. Yeah,
but I don't remember who it was for the 72-yarder. Yeah,
but again, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Is that like stuff's not going to go your way in football, right? The other guy's going to knock the wind out of you, hurt you, and you're like, I try to tackle him, and
I didn't like that.
Yeah, my bones rattled a little bit, but you got to go play next week. Yeah. You got to go play again, and it's an indicator of like how much can you take, and how much can it hurt, and you're still there. Do you give up? It happens all the time in every sport, and I said there's a lot more reasons for you to give up in football because it hurts. It hurts more. And you're just like I don't know if I really want to take on this gigantic lineman. Yeah, I'll just give him the old, you got me. You got me blocked. I'm blocked. Yeah.
It's hard to get to this point. It's hard to be 6-1, right? We've only done it a handful of times.
Bowl eligible. I didn't even think about it. Yeah, you didn't even say that either.
I forgot.
Yeah,
we're no longer talking about hit 6.
Yeah. That we were on the show with us a couple weeks ago was Brandon Bird, Mason White Barbo talking about how their thing that whole season was hit 6, and they were like, hey, we're past that, we can hit 8, whatever. This team, I think you and I at least were like, yeah, we should be up here, we should be 6, we should be 7-0, 8-0, and so they get to 6. That's just part of getting to 8, 9, 10. I think this team has a real shot of getting 10 wins, which is another one of those things we haven't done, right? You can't control the 10 wins. You can't control whether or not they rank you for it, but you can get to 10. And I think this team, of all the years, I said probably the 2018 team, like off the top of my head, I think was a better team, maybe as good a team, right? Kind of depending on what happens here. But that team didn't finish, and that team didn't win anything.
This offense is better.
I think that offense had some explosive guys on it. I think that we still had
some NFL caliber players.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we're number 1 in the nation in offense right now. And
I mean,
that's the thing they can hold on to with guys that you don't see could potentially be NFL players, except for somebody like Caleb Hawkins.
Yeah, this season's defense is more opportunistic, right? I don't think that season's defense, that team could stop people, get some sacks, but it was not really get three turnovers a game type team. Like without knowing how it's going to be done, I'm like, I know that North Texas defense is going to get some turnovers in this game. It happens to the point where you're just like, it's not a fluke. You're like, they're gonna pick up a fumble. They're gonna get an interception. Something's gonna happen. They're gonna take advantage of it. Again, they did it against USF, right? Got some fumbles against USF, and they did it. They strip sack against UTSA.
Yeah,
the lateral.
Year, I remember just begging for one forced fumble in a game. I just want to force one fumble, right? I don't even have to get it. Just force a fumble to disrupt the flow.
Just let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's get the running back, because now he has to go to the sideline. The running back coach will be like, "You got to hold the ball high and tight. You fumbling my football." At least, because right now he's just getting. That's what we're talking about. He's getting high fives. We don't need him. Let's bring him down a notch, this dude. He's feeling too good.
It's so attacking, so aggressive. They're hitting hard. They're punching out. Even there was another instance where the play was already out of bounds, but I think it was Witter that was still forcing a fumble, right? He's punching the ball out of the player's hands. There's no give up, and I think that's a huge difference. To your point of we can get to 10 wins, I think it's an attainable goal as long as we stay with that no give up. It is really hard to get to 10 wins, right, for any team in the country. Only a few do it. I think we have the chance because of the schedule, and sure, we might get taken down a notch because of the schedule, but we have that schedule. We should be able to take care of business with whoever's on the schedule.
Is it like, I think Marshall had a soft schedule a few years ago. They were like 10-1, 10 whatever. Nobody cares, right? When they look at it, they don't like, okay, show me all the teams, all the times that Alabama won, and show me all their soft schedules. Whatever, they have a couple FCS wins in there. There were some down years in the FCC. Maybe some teams are overrated just because they're SEC teams. All this other stuff. It's like nobody cares. Like UTSA won. They got 10 wins recently. It was a very weak Conference USA schedule. I think that season we played all the good teams, and they had their Charlottes when they were terrible, and they had Bryce when they're terrible. Nobody cares. You got to beat the teams in front of you, like you said, and it starts by taking care of business. It's always a margin of error thing. I think North Texas has a greater margin of error against a Charlotte, because Charlotte's not good. But, I mean, you just ask Memphis what happens when you just don't take it seriously. You got to be ready. So it gets tougher, and I think it gets tougher mentally. You still got to get locked in. You still got to go compete. They're not just going to give it to you. Charlotte's going to be like, hey, this team is 6-1. They just blew out UTSA. They're a good team. They get, it's home on Friday. They're getting excited about it. They're going to give it a little shot, and that's why I say you got to kill it early. Kill their want to early.
Yeah,
They make
bigger motivation to give us a loss than we might have motivation to give them a loss.
Yeah. But I will say this. Here's a couple things, and we're probably talking about it later on this week's show, the preview show, is that Charlotte's 2-0 against us. It was 2019.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, they had that one because we had. I can't think of his name right now. The dude had like 3 touchdowns, 3 catches, 3 touchdowns for us to start the game. I think Mason Fine was just killing them, and then they ended up having like a long touchdown at the end of the game to win. That was 2019.
Was it Rico? Was it Jalen?
No, it's the dude that ended up leaving us for Jair Shorter that left us for Memphis. And the next one was in 2020 when they blew us out in Denton. So. 0-2 against Charlotte, and I mean, I was like, I don't even remember the last time we played Charlotte. I had to look it up, and then I was like, oh yeah, it's just.
I told you they were good.
They're not that good. But there you go. We always played them when they were good. Like
right,
there was on their bounce up ones, like they were like, hey, we're getting better now. But my point is, we can beat Charlotte. Right? This team can beat Charlotte.
We have to beat Charlotte.
If you had the willies, the concerns, like, oh, UTSA, they got that running back. I don't know that you can look at Charlotte and be like, well, they got. I'm sure they have a running back. I'm sure there's a guy on their roster, like I said, not to disrespect them or anything like that, but it is a little disrespectful to say. But the deal is that, nobody's looking at Charlotte's schedule and be like, oh man, look out for the Charlottes. They're gonna go do their thing. Which is what? What is their thing? Well, so far it's losing, but they might try to switch it up a little bit. Like, hey, you know how we lose all the time? Yeah. What do you think if we did the other thing and try to win? I never thought about that before. That's crazy. I don't know. It's so crazy. It just might work. 17 points a game, and they're allowing 35 points a game. Here's just a quick rundown. We'll do this again. Again for this purpose of the show. App State 11-34. North Carolina, that's terrible. Bill Belichick's North Carolina, they lost 20-3. They beat Monmouth, which is an FCS school. They lost to Rice 17-28. They got murderized by USF 26-54. They got beat by Army 24-7. I know I'm flipping these scores on you. They got beat by Temple 49-14. So just following all of that, I think North Texas should get 50 on them. It should be a 50-14. I don't see that Temple is a better team than North Texas, and I feel like North Texas can score easier than Temple, and so I expect to see 50. By the way, Temple's averaging 33 points a game.
Temple worries me. But
they're getting better. They are getting better. You should work. We're averaging 45 a game.
Yeah, number 1 in the nation.
Number 1 in the nation. Do we have a...
I think we've matched the most number of 50 burgers in a season, and
yes,
if we scored.
It just come across my desk that we're the number 1 scoring team in the nation.
Breaking news.
Breaking news, yeah. First here on MGN, latest breaking news on Sunday. North Texas B grade, number 1 scoring team in the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Mean Green Nation podcast. It's the only place where you get breaking news like that. Thank you for listening. Thanks for Aldo for fitting us into his busy schedule of I guess
Children.
Meal planning. Yeah, he just guys doing all kinds of great stuff right now.
It's sunny day in the Pacific Northwest. We're not going to have many of these for 6 months.
I have no sympathy for you because you chose of your own free will to move there. It's not like there was no forced march up there or nothing. Nobody made you do it, man. Donald Trump didn't open the things to get out there. You got to live here in St. Louis, Seattle now. How will we survive? You chose it, right? You drove the U-Haul up there. So.
All the gluten-free muffins.
Yeah, you're like, oh, man. You told me. You said. You had too much of that Texas sun. You're like, it's been beating me down for 45 years.
You get more pale complexion.
Yeah, I think I look better when I'm like ghostly. I got a ghostly look. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're done. Thanks for listening to the show. Continue to feel good on this Sunday. It's evening for us. Throughout the week, we'll schedule time with the great Hank Dickinson this week. We got to work it around Aldo's schedule. We got to work it around Hank Dickinson's schedule. Yeah, so we're going to have him on the show. We're going to talk about the Charlottes, and then, any insights that he has. We'll see if he likes Zach Babb. I was like, we talked about Zach Babb. Zach said, we just started a little beef. He said, he likes being the guy. He doesn't really like you too much. Check the tape. I don't know. We might have lost that tape, but he said it.
He said, I really like Dave better than Hank.
Yeah.
And here's why. I'll give you 10 reasons why.
I got 100, but I'll give you just the 10. Anyway, thanks for listening to the show. Go Mean Green.
Go Mean Green.